Hi, I'm Rihanna from Frugal Life, and today I'm going to be talking to you about things that most people tell you are frugal tips that don't work for people that are low income or struggling with money. So one of the reasons I've been away from YouTube is because most of the things I give you as tips for frugal living are only good if you actually have money in the bank to take care of these things or to save. If you don't have any money, even to pay the mortgage or to buy groceries, most of these frugal tips that these frugal living people are giving you are not going to work. So today's a real talk, and we're going to go back to real talk on this channel. So today is real talk about frugal tips that everybody tells you to do that are not going to work if you're low income. And some of them I have advice for, and some of them are just ones that you and I have to deal with. So the first one is buying in bulk. And I used to be able to do this all the time when I had money for groceries. Now we depend completely on people bringing us groceries or the food pantry, and I can't buy groceries at all with the money I make. So I can't buy groceries in bulk when they're on sale. And maybe you can't buy groceries in bulk either. So we depend on 5 pounds of proteins and 30 eggs and some bread and some sandwich meat and very little groceries to get through an entire week. If I see a sale on ground beef or eggs or any of those things I usually use, I can't buy even 1 pound extra because I don't have the money for it. So if, like me, you don't have the money to buy in bulk, people tell you to buy in bulk can sometimes just be frustrating. And I know that I put that in many of my videos back when I had a little bit extra money to do those things. So maybe you can't buy in bulk right now. You're just going to have to leave that tip by the wayside. And by the way, if you hear an old man snoring in the background, it's not an old man, it's a big old pit bull. So the next tip I have for you that everybody gives to you is to meal plan. Meal plan ingredients or meal plan meals for a whole week so that you don't have to go out to eat fast food. But forget about fast food. We can't even buy groceries anymore to eat at home. So how are we going to meal plan, save that money from McDonald's and meal plan for a whole week? We can't do it. Like I said, I have to make 5 pounds last for 7 days for 2 people. That's not going to be able to make me be able to work ahead and meal plan for that week. I have to use whatever groceries I get at the time, whatever somebody gives me, whatever I have in the cupboard at the time is what I have to use. So I can't look up recipes online and meal plan anymore. And maybe you can't either. I'd love to hear what you're doing instead of meal planning if you can't buy any extra ingredients, because I need those tips too. So the next thing I want to talk to you about is couponing. And I came from a world of the 80s and 90s where coupons were huge. I could double coupon when I lived in Arizona. I could get free groceries from couponing. Now, ever since COVID, couponing and refunding has died. It's died. Couponing is not lucrative like it used to be. And if you can't buy regular groceries like a pound of rice and a pound of beans to get through the week, you can't spend money on things like Tide and Febreze and other things that they actually have coupons for. So nobody issues coupons for the basics anymore. And there's just a few coupons in the Sunday paper and a few coupons you can print out online. Number one, to print out coupons online, you have to have a working printer and printer ink, or you have to travel to the library and use your gas money to do so to coupon. So that's really where couponing has died. They don't issue them in the Sunday paper anymore. If they do, they're few and far between, and they're for name brands we can't afford to buy anyways. So couponing is not something that's really frugal living anymore. What you want to do instead is buy the absolute basics or get the absolute basics from places like the food pantry. Things like rice and beans and pasta are going to be your friends, all generic. None of them you can use coupons for. So couponing has died. Okay, the next one I haven't put in so many videos, and I am kicking myself for doing so because when I had a little bit of money, I was living frugally and I was doing things like limiting subscriptions, turning off Netflix, Hulu, things like that. If you don't have any money, you turned off those subscriptions months ago, right? Nobody has cable anymore. We can't afford cable. Nobody has the Disney Channel anymore. We can't afford those things anymore. So those have already been limited a long time ago for most of us. So limiting subscriptions is not the best frugal living tip we can give out anymore. Unfortunately, we're all just doing bare bones at the moment. And if you're not doing bare bones at the moment, good for you. Take those tips, limit your subscriptions now so you're not used to them, because you may need to limit them entirely if money gets hard. Cashback and rewards programs. Who is doing this anymore? We have maxed out our credit cards to the limit, paying medical bills and credit cards for groceries and gas and things like that in the last couple of years. So cash back is just not something that's happening because we don't have the money to do it anymore. And a lot of you don't have the credit or the money to do that either. So again, that's another thing that people suggest that you use all the time in the basic frugal living videos. And it's just not helpful for those of us that have a low income already. So that one I don't have another tip for because, as you know, you probably are not using those anyways. That's not something you can start using because you don't want to put stuff on credit cards when you already have a bunch of credit out that you're trying to pay off. So that's not the greatest frugal living tip out there. Next is something that's near and dear to my heart. I've made whole videos about it, is secondhand shopping, thrift shopping. I love it so much. It is my favorite hobby in the whole world. I have not done it in 2 years. I cannot afford to buy a single thing at the thrift store. If I can't buy groceries, I'm not buying stuff at the thrift store. I'm not buying clothes anymore. I'm not buying home decor anymore. I'm not buying books anymore. If those things don't come to me free, they don't happen. And maybe you're also in that predicament. People are telling you, oh, just go buy it at the thrift store. And you're like, well, I don't even have $10 to buy it at the thrift store. So that is not a good frugal living tip for those of us that are low income. I do have a secondary suggestion for this one, and that is to join your local buy nothing groups. Look it up. They used to be in like Yahoo and things like that. Now they're in Facebook. So whatever city you're in, search that city, San Francisco buy nothing group in Facebook, and you will get a group, most likely, if search the biggest city near to you, where people post things that they don't need anymore, but they also post wants that they do need. So if you're in need of formula or a blanket or a toy for your kids, you can post that you're looking for that, and a lot of the times people will give it to you for free. So that is a secondary option to thrift shopping if you cannot afford to even shop at the thrift store anymore. Something people post in groups for frugal living or on YouTube videos is automate savings, pay yourself first. This is in all of the workshops on financial living and better financial living, and on books on how to get rich or how to live comfortably or whatever. They always say pay yourself first, automate your savings, which means if you're about to get a paycheck on Friday, you automate the paycheck issuing company to already take part of that money out, or you automate your bank account to immediately take part of that money out and put it in your savings account before you even see it. Now, if you're living paycheck to paycheck like I am, you don't have a dime to automate out. If you have to take $1 out, that's $1 you're taking out of gas in your car to get to work. So automate savings is not great for anybody who's living paycheck to paycheck or struggling financially. That is for somebody that has extra money to save and it's just not doing well at saving it, and they would rather spend it. So I do have an alternative to this one, and that is to keep a change jar. So maybe when you pay for something at the grocery store, you drop all your change in the bottom of your purse, take it home and put it in the change jar. It is tiny in the amount that you're saving compared to automated savings. But those of us don't have a lot of money. That's all we can do. So just do what you can do and don't stress on the fact that other people are doing more. The next is saving energy. I did a whole video on this a couple years ago on turning off lights and automating your energy savings and buying energy saving appliances and things like that. That is only good if you have the money to do that. Most of us can't even pay our electricity. Electricity bills in California are up to $400. That's rent in some places. So that is not a good frugal living tip anymore. So for example, we have lived in this house for 10 years and we have never once turned on the heat. We do have heat, but it uses propane, and the propane costs hundreds of dollars a month if we turn on the heat. So we bundle up in the summer, in the winter, in the fall, wherever we are, so that we don't have to turn on the heater. We never have, we never will be able to, because it just costs too much money. So those of you out there bundling up, you know where I'm coming from. Buying energy savings appliances for us and turning off lights for us does not make a big difference. You have to make huge sacrifices in order to save money if you don't have any money to start out with. So that is it. I know this wasn't the most positive, go-lucky, happy video in the world because today is real talk. And I want to know what you want to hear from real talk from me. What frustrates you about frugal living tips when you don't have any money to start out with? What frustrates you about trying to get by that we can talk about together and try to come up with solutions for? So if you're low income or middle class and not making enough money to survive, please post your comments down below about questions you have that we can talk about in later videos.